Hello, friends. Welcome to another live weekly coaching with me. I'm Erin. If this is your first time tuning in, I teach new and aspiring virtual assistants how to start and run thriving businesses. So every Wednesday, I'm doing these Wednesday Q&As presented to you guys. I field a lot of questions from you. So if you're watching me and you have questions that pertain specifically to your virtual assistant business, feel free to leave a comment. You can interact with me here live, or you can leave me a comment on any of my other videos, and I will try to address them through these weekly lives. So this week, we are doing a lot of Q&A from you guys. You guys have submitted wonderful questions. And as always, I want to just kickstart off with a reminder that if you're looking for a program that has a little more hand-holding, that is to say, sorry, I'm talking to you as I am fixing my audio, which I just realized is not connected to my microphone. So there we go. Much better. So I have a program. It's available on my website, erinbooth.com, that is called the Virtual Business Blueprint. So this blueprint is over a 12-week long program. Now, you have access to it 365 days a year at all times. You can revisit anytime. You can jet through the whole program in a week. If you had that much time, you could take a month. You could take the full 12 weeks if you wanted to do it slow and methodical. But the entire program is there to help you launch your new virtual assistant business with clarity. I launched my own business in 2012 with no help. So I designed a program that I wish existed when I was launching my own virtual assistant program, because without these step-by-step steps to help you understand like the things you need to do before you even talk to a client, or the things that you need to get aligned immediately after you start talking to a client. What about your contracts? What kind of onboarding process do you have? How do you make it simple without overwhelming your new clients? So these are all the things that we talk about in this program. I go through pitching, how to pitch with confidence, how to talk about your business more confidently, your services, your rates, how to grow your business without feeling burned out. Anyway, it's a wonderful program. I'm very proud of it. So if you haven't already, do take a look on my website for the Virtual Assistant Business Blueprint program. We go through mindset, we go through skills, communication, branding, pitching. Everything you need for your business is all right there. So this week we're talking about, what are we talking about? We're talking about user submitted questions, where I'm taking questions from you guys. So let's just hop into some of this content. As I said, you guys asked amazing questions. So first question that came through from David is, what other platforms can we be searching for VA jobs, VA opportunities? And David, I love this question. As you know, I talk about LinkedIn all the time. Look at this graphic. This graphic represents every other platform that you could potentially be finding clients. And that is to say, everywhere, everything, every opportunity, every person you talk to in real life, tell them with curiosity and authenticity. Tell them about your VA business. Tell people you meet that you're a virtual assistant and that you run your own business. It's just, you can truly find opportunities to connect with clients across any social media platform, because most social media platforms have search bars, and those search bars allow you to type in keywords. So if you're typing in keywords like virtual assistant, or you can even search for full phrases like I am seeking a virtual assistant, do that on Facebook, do that on X, which used to be Twitter, do that on Reddit. Look for virtual assistant groups or people who are big in the space on TikTok, on Instagram. Pinterest is a huge place that you could be advertising your services as well. LinkedIn will still and forever be my most favorite place to do this because it is business oriented. But don't shy away from using other platforms. There's a load of opportunities for you to connect with people. I don't want you to feel limited, but I also want you to lead with curiosity. So any site you're on, use the search bar. See if people are talking about virtual assistants. Be a part of that conversation. See if there are people on there who are like, man, I wish I had a VA. Can you connect with them? Can you friend them? Can you introduce yourself to them? So, David, that is to say, there are a lot of opportunities where you can find virtual assistant work and people who are hiring VAs. This other question was great. It's a two-parter. So the question is, if you're just starting out as a VA, can you work with just one client? So that's the first part of the question. And the second part is, and what amount can you charge when you're starting out? So my little snail friend is supposed to represent slow and steady growth. So to answer your first part of your question, can you work with just one client when you're first starting out? I think you should start with just one client. There's always a chance that you grow your business too quickly. And I speak from experience. So I'll tell you a quick story. Back in 2015, 2016, I ended up growing my business so large. I had 18 individual clients. Now, to give you some context, me in 2024, I have 3 individual long-term clients that I work with now. So 3 is manageable for me. 18 was not. I was saying yes to too many things. I was unable to meet everybody's expectations and deadlines. I was working around the clock from the moment I woke up to the moment I went back to sleep. I was feeling burned out and underappreciated and overwhelmed. And then I realized that I did that to myself by design because I took on too many clients and I grew too fast. The problem is when you're a new VA, if you take on 2 or 3 clients simultaneously as a brand new VA, I guarantee you will also feel that same kind of overwhelm because as a new VA, you don't yet really know how this client's personality is. Like who are they? How do they like to work? What's their workflow? Do they send you a million text messages all at once? Are they pretty quiet? Are they pretty stable? Like you just don't know how it's going to go yet. So imagine you have 3 new clients who are all sending you a million tasks at once, and you don't yet know how you want to organize your workflow, how you want to handle tasks and prioritization. You'll be so overwhelmed, you'll almost be in a state of freeze where you won't know who to help first. So my recommendation as a new VA is to always start with one client. And once you feel like you are comfortable with the way that they work, how often they send work to you, you're comfortable with your workflow, you have a better sense for how long certain repetitive tasks take you. Once you understand and you're like, I'm feeling good, I feel like I get what this client is doing, and now I'm ready for more work, then you can tell that client, I'm taking on more people. Do you have anyone to refer me within your network? But I don't recommend you grow any faster. So remember the snail, slow and steady is where it's at. And just the second part of your question is a lot more straightforward. No, I said that wrong. The second part of your question about pricing is a lot less straightforward. Pricing is a very nuanced thing. So there's a lot of different factors that are affecting your pricing. It's where you live physically. And I hate to say that that is a deciding factor, but it is. That is a reality of this business where I'll say North American. So if you're in Mexico, Canada, United States, VAs in North America tend to start at 25 to 30 an hour versus VAs that I've met and coached who are in the Philippines or in India or in Vietnam or in Lagos. Like these VAs are trying to compete with other people in their market that tend to charge $10 an hour. So it's very hard to compete if you're competing in a market, let's just say in Vietnam, where other virtual assistants are charging $10 an hour. You're in the same market, but you're charging 30. It's going to be a lot harder for you to find clients because they might be more inclined to go with somebody cheaper. So where you're located and where your market is going to differ, and how you set your rates. Your rates are also going to be affected by the types of people that you work with. So again, if you're in Vietnam and you're working with a local Vietnamese company, they might be able to pay you a little bit less versus a medium to large corporation in Vancouver, Canada, who's making more money and can afford to pay you more money. It's a sad reality, but is a reality nonetheless that you have to be aware of these things. But I will give you kind of a standard. If you are working with North American clients or even clients in the UK, if you're working with clients, it's a safe bet that you can start around $20 an hour, 20 US dollars an hour. That's kind of a safe place to start. It's a little bit lower than what you could eventually work up to. The more clients you get, the more work you have under your belt. To give you some context, I started as a VA years ago at 20 an hour. After a few years, which I readily admit now these days that I waited way too long to raise my rates. I went up to 25, then I raised it to 30, then to 35. These days, I do specialty content for my clients. I'm charging them $50 an hour. It is a far cry from where I started, but I've been doing this for 12 years. I've niched down. I've changed who I work with. I've changed my clients. But it is possible to make very good money as a virtual assistant, but it takes time and it takes dedication. And again, you have to factor in things like where you live, where your clients live, what the market rates are, what people are willing to pay for. And all of these things are in flux and they change quite frequently. Great question, though. Another question. I had a video on YouTube a couple months ago about an AI tool that basically plans all of your travel. So if you're someone like me, one of my niche skills is travel booking, corporate travel booking for my clients. So I did a video about this AI tool that basically did the lion's share part of my job, where I plugged in where my client was going and I said, give me an itinerary, come up with things that he can do, fun things, work things, dinner suggestions. And it, in like 30 seconds, it whipped out this entire complex multi-day itinerary for me. So this comment, will this tool put travel agencies out of work? I have a long answer for you. And ultimately, I think the answer is no. But it is understandable that we are all concerned about AI impacting the virtual assistant field these days, because AI is meant to take over repetitive tasks. And a big part of our job as VAs is doing repetitive tasks. However, although I appreciate this question, I do not think it is likely that AI will ever fully replace VAs, including travel agents. And here's why. AI cannot replicate the human aspects of our business that really make or break our businesses. They cannot understand complex requests or really understand the nuances. They cannot read body language. If you're having a conversation with your client and you're picking up that they're using shorter sentences or they're making micro expressions that make them look annoyed, we can pick up on those things and like pivot the conversation or check in with a client and say, is everything okay? Computers cannot. We can build rapport with our clients, which is crucial for, or we can do tasks that require like discretion or sensitivity or creative problem solving. So there are certain things that we can do that AI just cannot. But I will say I have this picture of the hands meeting. We all know this creationist painting in the Sistine Chapel. So the fingers are meeting because I want you to think of AI like a partnership. The future might involve AI and human VAs working together more closely. So in my case, I'm thrilled that a tool like Maya exists to do travel because it makes my travel booking a lot faster and a lot easier. Now, I'm still getting paid the same high rate. My clients don't necessarily need to know that I'm using AI tools to help facilitate my work, but it is making me a better, faster, more efficient virtual assistant, and I'm able to turn tasks around a lot quicker. So I think it's great. I think if you're a VA who's not yet really embraced AI, it is time for you to really seriously think about how you can use these tools to make your tasks easier on you. So the more time you have, the less time you're spending on tasks, you're technically making a better hourly rate. The more efficient you can be and turn around work faster, the happier your clients are going to be. So again, if you're a VA who's really shied away from AI tools so far, don't. Because while AI might not take over your job, another virtual assistant who is using AI might. And I want you to sit with that for a little bit because it's kind of a humbling sentence. Another great question here. And I'm so glad that this person asked this. So in one of my videos, I talked about how I work with corporate clients. And this is a very valid question. It is, what type of company really needs a VA? And why would they hire a VA when they already have a structure of employees like manager, staff, etc.? And I think this is a wonderful question because I think when VAs talk about clients or acquiring clients, a lot of people think about solopreneurs, or they think I need to work with just one person one-on-one, when the reality is it's a lot more robust than that. There are so many types of clients that I'm sure I'm not even thinking about or I'm aware of, but there's many, many ways to make money as a VA. So I personally do not really enjoy working with the individual people. I prefer to work with companies usually small companies. They might be small tech teams of 2 to 5 people. I've worked with venture capitalist firms that just have 4 people. I work with a wealth management firm that used to have 50 people. Now they have 100. But my clients work in these companies. And the truth is, a lot of them do have people who are like assistants or office managers within their job, and they still use me for certain tasks. So there's a multitude of reasons that people want to do this. So I work right now with a CEO and a COO duo. They have other people who could probably do my job in the office, but they prefer to use me for personal tasks. I mean, these CEOs are slammed. So somebody in the office might handle, sending faxes on their behalf or doing some of their like work calendars. I handle their personal calendars. I handle their personal to-dos. I handle their personal travel, their corporate travel. I handle all the purchases that they make. So for them, it makes sense because they're so busy. They don't have time to do personal stuff, which is where I come in as their virtual assistant. But I've also worked with, believe it or not, Fortune 500 companies. I used to work with a manager at Ericsson Mobile, which was interesting. It was my largest company to date that I ever worked with. And there are certainly times that companies are happy. So for this particular gentleman that I used to work with, this manager, when he was hired, he asked Ericsson for an assistant, and the company Ericsson said no. And so Chris came back and he said to them, "Can I hire a virtual assistant and would you reimburse me for that?" And after some back and forth, they said yes. The reason that I was able to work as his VA, even though other people in the company had in-office assistants, is because it's more cost effective. So sometimes companies will not want to hire a new employee. They don't want to provide benefits. They don't want to have to pay high packages. So I make less than a salaried employee. It's no secret that if I were doing um, executive administrative work in an office, I could be making more money with that particular client. So I might make less with one client as a VA, but I make up for it in the fact that I have multiple clients. So companies will want to save money. They will not want to, it's cost effective for them. The bottom line is they don't want to pay for extra benefits. Maybe they don't want to pay for more space in an office. Maybe they're trying to reduce overhead. Maybe they're trying to get out of an office or not pay for equipment. So essentially, hiring a contractor is a lot more cost effective for these companies. So I don't want you to shy away from the fact that you don't just have to work as a VA for solopreneurs or single people. You can absolutely pitch people who are in small to medium-sized businesses, and that might be a good way that you get into the door as well. Personally, I tend to find that small and medium businesses pay better than individuals because they have some protections under their own company's umbrella. Maybe the company's paying for it. Maybe they have a higher salary. But that's just my opinion. I like to work with small businesses. And I want you to know, that was a great question, but I want you to know that small businesses do hire contractors. So great question. And then I wanted to leave this week with a quick quote from Maya Angelou, who's one of my favorite authors and activists, because I think it speaks to the power of starting your own business as a VA. So anything you can do or any dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. So if you're watching this video and you're either thinking about starting a business or you're getting the tingle that you think you want to be a VA, I want you to remember this quote. If you can dream it, you can do it. And I'm here to help you along the way with the intricacies of everything else in between. So it doesn't look like we have any questions coming in this week, which is totally fine. If you guys have any other questions and you want to ask me questions live about your business, you can always send me an email, leave me a comment on any of my videos on YouTube. I do see them. I try to answer them as all of them as quickly as I possibly can. So there are ways to reach me, and I'd be happy to feature your questions in future videos. So thanks so much for watching this week. And as always, I'm here Wednesdays, 1 o'clock live. So join me next Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, where I can answer your questions and we can have a chat one-to-one as well. All right. Thank you guys so much. See you next week.